No. Judy, one of the things I appreciate about your work as a director is that, like Truffaut, you don't set out to make heroes and villains.
That's
in
right.
this film, you let everyone have their due, and you leave it up to the audience to decide whether to like or dislike them. Is that a difficult balance to maintain?
Well, as an actor, I think you really come to realize that everybody has a point of view, and that you have to be committed to your characters and love them, even if they're the villain in the movie. You have to understand why they're villainous, and why people get colored confused along the line, and why they come to loggerheads with each other. That's something that I really wanted to be careful with in this movie, was to just not be schematic, and to not put people into little categories, little boxes that they fit in. And I would say most of my movies kind of really try to work against schematizing people.
But I mean, this film and Little Man Tate, there are characters that in the work of another, maybe lesser filmmaker, this is the villain or
Yes.
this is a bad person, you can feel safe in disliking them. But in this case, you have sort of the uptight couple that by the end of the film, you're allowing them the possibility of being very happy. Whereas the Robert Downey character isn't maybe the lovable jokester that he might be portrayed in other films.
Right, no, that's true. People are messy, they're complicated. And that's, when you love them for that, when you love people for their humanness, the fact that they're not always nice, or that sometimes they regret things that they've done in their life, but they can't get off that treadmill, you know. I think that's the first step towards being able to accept those sides of yourself, really.
I'm almost afraid to ask this question, but do you see a day when your passion for being a filmmaker will supersede your passion for wanting to act?
Gee, I don't know. I can't imagine not acting in my life. I've acted my entire life from the time I was, 4 or 5 years old, or 3 years old. But there's maybe for varying degrees. I mean, I may direct more movies than I act in eventually, as the years go on. But acting gives me something that I don't think anyone will ever understand what performance is for me. Because I'm not a natural performer. I'm not somebody who stands on top of a table and says, "Look at me, I have a hat on." I'm quite reserved and shy, and I'm not somebody who's emotionally lives with their emotions on the surface. So for me to take on a job like that, it's a very big deal and very cathartic and important for me.
Do you look forward to family reunions with the same mix of dread and enthusiasm as the characters in this film?
Yeah, both. Dread and enthusiasm. I love the holidays. I love to cook. My whole family loves to cook. But sometimes being with your family can be a little bit like being stuck in an elevator with 20 people who you don't get along with, and basically being stuck for the rest of your life and having to vow unconditional love to these people that are driving you crazy.
Well, thank you very much, and congratulations.
Thank you very much. Cheers. Great.